On our team is Matt.
Me, hi.
How's it going?
Good,
Frankie
hi.
over there with the other camera.
Hey, Frankie.
Frankie. Paul.
Paul.
And this is Log 2.
And that's Bruce.
Still Bruce. It's a mobile-based RPG that really revolves around positioning, so it kind of involves tactics, which we're going to do using GPS or whatever it means, but whatever. Borrows a lot of elements from Pokemon, kind of that same kind of combat system. Elements from our multiplayer elements from WoW, because we're going to have several people, as you can see, there's 3 of you guys. We'll have you hopefully playing together. As I said, tactics, which you'll see. But as I mentioned, the social problem that we're addressing here, because of course you have to address the social problem, is so when you see people with mobile gaming systems like an NDS or a PSP, there's really just interaction between them. There's no world outside them. So what we want to do with our game is to create an interaction with the environment surrounding the player and other people also in the environment. So kind of like a real life WoW inside a system similar to Pokemon, so turn-based combat and stuff like that. I should probably say stuff like that. Anyhow, so we're going to use a paper prototype to kind of emulate that interaction. The stuff we're looking for when you're playing the game is see if what we have built into it is eliciting that social reaction that we're looking for, interaction. Also looking for how we can make sure to get more interaction. And we'll also be looking at kind of the basic of their game mechanics in there. It isn't a whole lot right now, but that's kind of what we're looking at. So the paper prototype is going to be on one aspect of the game. We're going to go through some storyboards to kind of explain how we get to that point, and then after we do our little thing, we'll look at some storyboards.
Do we see a user story?
A user story?
Like we say, like, this is Jim. He wants to go outside.
It's not quite like that. In fact, Lotto, why don't you take it through?
Okay, so this is Jim. Jim turns on the application, and then he can start selecting his characters.
Suppose you also say, sorry. So, like an Android or iPhone, turn it on, whatever. Cool.
Okay, and Jim sees his location on the map and also the quest that is on the map. So, if he chooses a quest, he can walk to it. Of course, before he does that, he can read the information like, oh, it's like, oh, this looks kind of fun and this is kind of boring, so he can choose the quest he likes itself. So it's just not like you press start, you go, you have to actually go there, then you go. And when you get there, there's a quest pop-up that pops up, and then the quest begins.
So like, so the point could be like I'm a Syrian, I have to go to Metro Town, that type of deal?
Well, presumably there would be stuff closer. So like if you were starting it up here, there would be maybe a job. We're calling missions jobs, or I am anyways. Would be at Holland Park, which is the park, I think just right down there is what they called it.
Yeah, it is Holland Park.
That park. So it would show Holland Park there, and it'd be like, you press the button, it will give you details on that job that's at Holland Park. So hopefully not Metro Town.
And then when it begins, you see the full quest information, and then before the information is like, oh, you have to item retrieval or like survival or stuff like that, but here you actually see the entire thing. Oh, you have to do this, and that within that. And then you begin battling once you're inside the quest. So the idea is kind of like, the story behind is kind of like, you're in this normal world, and then you went through these portals into like a haunted world, and then stuff starts flying at you.
So what you do is you go to your mission, you'll get a list of sub-objectives or objectives, sometimes there'll be a time constraint, and then you begin navigating Holland Park. And just like Pokemon, there's random encounters. So what we're going to do is emulate you guys walking around a park. But before we get to that, some kind of technical stuff to explain to you, instructions on how to play the game. I am going to give you a character. Looks similar to this, character sheet. This is what we're going to call the mini-map. And what that is basically the positioning around a monster. So this is a monster, and this is the direction he's facing. And sometimes it's meaningful to know where you are in position or relative to the monster. In terms of moving around, you'll notice the floor is a grid. So these characters have speed, 2. So you can move 2 tiles in any of the cardinal directions. Is that a cardinal direction? No.
Diagonal.
Diagonal. So corner to corner. So you can't kind of just cut this line up here.
Gotcha.
When in battle mode, you have certain actions that you can take. Very similar to Pokemon. You can choose to attack. You can choose to defend. You can choose to use an item. You only have 1 item. I'll tell you right now, it will completely heal you. After you do that, you no longer have it. And you can move.
Means
What does this mean in terms of the battle map? You use the move action if you want to go from like this quadrant, if you want to move to this quadrant. And you can only move to adjacent quadrants. So from here you can go here, here, there, and there.
But of course, in the real actual game, you can move however you want, however fast you want. This one is just so that we can keep track of your actions.
Otherwise, you guys will be all over the place. Theme of the world. Are you guys familiar with the TV show Supernatural?
Yes.
So it's supernatural, hence haunted world. You're dealing with monsters, like ghosts, zombies, werewolves,
Vampires.
vampires. So in the game, hopefully, you'll be able to select a shotgun, rock select shotgun. In the case of these characters, everything has been pre-selected for you.
You
in
only
this
got
case.
baseball bats, axe, and chainsaw.
And you don't even get those options. In fact, whoever gets this character has a fire axe. Missions will be set up such that you learn about the environment, but also awesome monsters and kicking ass and stuff
This
like
monster isn't recycling.
Shoot him with a shotgun!
that. In the case for what you're working on right now, I'm just going to say a Wendigo has kidnapped a baby for breakfast. That Wendigo and that baby are somewhere in this very room.
You
You
have to find
3
him.
hunters have to find them, defeat the Wendigo, and save the baby.
For this quest, you don't see it on the map, so you can just find it yourself.
Are these squares our real grids that we can move on?
This is the grid.